Enter the muse.
So take advantage of the technology, leverage the technology would be my best advice.
Cool. Yeah, we live in a world where it seems to be moving more into like a technological arena, and some creators do feel a bit left out, and there's a lot of fear towards AI, like especially because of movies, I think, Terminator and all of those things. But you've managed to somehow merge the two, and I believe you completed Schubert's Unfinished Symphony, which until then has never been done before. What made you decide to use AI to attempt to do this?
Well, I should be clear that a great, brilliant scholar and composer named Brian Newbold attempted to finish Schubert's Unfinished Symphony and did. And he's a Schubert scholar. Uh, and various people have tried it over the years. So it's not my finishing of Schubert's Unfinished Symphony is not the first one.
Oh,
I think it's the best one, but you know that's just personal. That's that's just my personal feeling about it. I really like Brian Newbold's too, though, to be honest. But so I decided, you know, the story that I think people want to hear about artists is that, you know, I'm just this mythical creature who lives in Los Angeles and comes up with an idea, and then I get to put my idea on a concert stage, and a bunch of musicians come together in an orchestra and play my music. But that's actually completely the opposite of what my life is usually like. Um, Huawei, the tech company who your listeners in South Africa won't need an introduction to, but Huawei doesn't functionally exist in the United States at all. So I had never heard of them when they hired me. But they asked me to do it. They wanted to use their phone to finish Schubert's Unfinished Symphony and run the AI on their phone. And I had a friend of a friend who I knew who was working with them. They liked my credentials, they liked my music, and so they asked me to be the one to finish this for them. So it wasn't actually even an idea that I came up with. It was an idea that I was able to execute because of my experience, and I was able to do it in the time frame that they needed. And it was great. It was a wonderful experience. I mean, every composer, I think, dreams of writing a symphony, and I got to write half a symphony, so I'll take it. Hopefully it's my first of many, but it was definitely my first one, and it was a wonderful experience. You asked about the fear of artificial intelligence,
yeah.
and I guess the biggest question with to counter the Hollywood narrative is what incentive would artificial intelligence realistically have to enslave the human race?
I don't know, I don't know how AI thinks or do they think, but maybe sometime in the future they might develop something that would perhaps maybe they would develop something that maybe they think humans are in the way of something, so eliminate them. I think Elon Musk said that think of it as though it was an anthill and you're building a road. And he said, you just destroy the anthill and continue building the road.
Yeah, but there are billions of anthills in the world still.
True.
You know, I don't think that metaphor really holds up because by destroying an anthill, you're not destroying all of the ants in the world. You're and I do take Elon Musk's point, but also I think AI, if it is able to achieve true intelligence, where it's able to form its own thoughts and basically have a human-like intelligence, but with a unlimited capacity for storing information, it will probably grow to have a more enlightened perspective than we have, and it will probably be able to view the intelligent life and the cogitative mechanism of the universe, which is our species, as something special and something not to be destroyed haphazardly. It's only in our twisted logic that we can come up with a reason why AI might want to destroy us, but I think that reason probably doesn't exist.
Your point hasn't really been explored. Like, I don't think much people see it in that way. So,
yeah, because a lot of people, I mean, why would you think about this stuff? It's a much better story. The Terminator is a much more interesting story.
Yeah. If he didn't try to kill anyone, there'd be no story. So, yeah.
Yeah, and there are philosophers. I mean, I'm working on a book right now, and the book is about artificial intelligence, or it's more broadly about technology and the arts and how they've, over the years, interacted with each other and helped each other. And part of the idea of the book is that, you know, I'm not the first person or the only person to have these thoughts, but I write in a style that is like maybe more accessible and sort of popular. And so like there are great philosophers and great thinkers all over the world who are thinking these thoughts, but they're not necessarily able to put them in like digestible forms because they're very complex. And so I, as a non-professional philosopher, I'm happy to leave out some details in order to get the overarching themes across to people, the same way that James Cameron is willing to leave out some details about how the future may have come to be the way that it is depicted in his films, you know, because the relevant detail is the Terminator is cool and Arnold Schwarzenegger is awesome.
Yeah. What do you think
so
about?
I'm trying to find the Arnold Schwarzenegger of reasonable AI. That's my point.
That's a nice thing. Oh, what about jobs and AI? What's your view on that? Do you think they'd replace like factory jobs? And I think they are doing that already. But moving forward, do you think we'd be able to coexist in the working world with AI?
Well, the question you're asking is the same question that people have been asking since the dawn of technology. And the answer is yes. And the evidence of that is that here we still are. And the answer is also no, in that there aren't very many wagon wheel builders anymore, and there aren't any lamplighters, and there aren't any horse stables between long stretches of, you know, stage-coached roads, because the world has changed. There aren't scribes anymore either. So many jobs do cease to exist, and then other jobs are created, and that's just how it's always been. So you can look at it from the perspective of our current, you know, the next couple of years, and yeah, probably people will lose work. And you can also look at it from the perspective of individual industries. Like financial reporting used to be, there used to be people who collected financial data and turned it into reports for the newspaper, and now that is largely done by software. And so there are certainly interesting things that those people learned throughout the years about how to do their jobs, and that art is now lost, the same way that the art of writing quickly in, you know, Akkadian, in cuneiform is now lost. Some people sort of understand it, but the real details of how to do it well are just gone, you know, and they're gone because that technology was supplanted by other technology. So to answer your question, yes, of course we'll be able to coexist with automation, but also the world will be different in ways that we can't predict.